Today we are continuing our supply chain conversation with Duff Davidson and Chris Oechsel.
With economy concerns and talk about a potential recession, are you seeing companies pull back on supply chain technology investments?
Yeah, that's a good question. From the standpoint of pulling back, I would say no. I mean, I think right now we're seeing maybe things like some decisions being slowed down a bit, maybe additional ROI being done on certain aspects of what they're looking at. They want to make sure it's the right tools and they can get it in a timely time frame and things like that. But the investments are healthy. They're very specific in regards to what they want to do, and there's a big market for that right now in regards to our pipeline is as big as it's ever been, and companies looking at opportunities in the space. So that's all encouraging. However, there's this looming recession hanging out there that I think everyone's aware of. So I think there is a few sectors that we ran into where companies have slowed down a little bit in regards to what they're looking at and how they spend the money. But they're also looking at it, it's different to how you can attain a solution today too than how you used to attain it. You used to have to write a big check for all the money down, and now you kind of can rent the service, so to speak, and as software as a service, and you can get there a little easier and a little quicker. But we're seeing still a relatively healthy market.
Yeah, those are great points, and I certainly am seeing a lot of the same things. I think we had a conversation a few weeks ago where somebody was talking about the rising interest rates, the inflation, and the impending recession. We heard a lot about that yesterday, and yet what we're hearing from our customers is they're still growing. The demand has not eased off from a consumer standpoint. It's not a situation where we're seeing people pulling back. I think that right now, considering where we're at this very moment, we're 30 days out from an election. I think there are some folks who are kind of waiting to see which way that's going to go. Certainly hopeful that will have some kind of a positive impact. But we also are seeing a lot of significant opportunities in our pipeline that people who are larger operations really considering the need to upgrade their technology in order to be competitive in this landscape. And really the economy, other than the things that we've talked about earlier in terms of labor and space, has not really impacted people's decision-making process. They're really being driven by the need to compete and the need to differentiate themselves through technology and through enhanced service offerings. So it's kind of interesting because while we're living against the backdrop of the doom and gloom of the economy, we're seeing customers thriving. The nice thing about the 3PL space, at least what I've seen over the last 10 years, is that many of our customers have very diverse industries that they represent. When you have 100 or 200 customers in a given building, you're typically dealing with, in many cases, some recession-proof types of products.
Whether it's a diversity portfolio right there, right?
Absolutely. Whether it's toilet paper, water, paper towels, clothing. It's interesting because they've created their own hedge by diversifying their customer base. And what we saw during the pandemic was many of these operations really thrived. So I think we've found a good industry for both of us to be serving. Warehousing and distribution is not really one of those industries that can be offshored. They really have to be located in an area where the product is ultimately being delivered to. So I think there's still strong demand for this. I think we're going to continue to see growth. I think the supply chain is one of the areas where they're actually still predicting growth, well through into next year. So I feel really good about where we're at, and the industry, although there have definitely been times where I've cursed the choices that we've made. But I feel very good about where we're positioned for the next couple of years.
It just seems a lot different than your typical recession where things, kind of slow down across the board. I think we're in a unique space, and volatility is probably our friend in regards to how this all works.
Absolutely.